If I'm being honest, I'm coming into this holiday season just a little bit burned out and tired. And the holidays are hard enough, and sometimes we can get through it having felt like we just survived it. But I really want to enjoy this season and also be able to get some rest and relaxation. So in today's video, I'm sharing with you some things that I am doing to make this season not just survivable, but thrivable. I don't even know if that's a word, but we're gonna go with it. I want to not just survive the season, I wanna enjoy it. I'm gonna tell you my plan for doing that. One suggestion I want to give is to simplify. I just arrived at Walmart and I am only here to return some new Christmas lights that aren't the right color. The only new Christmas decorations I purchased this year are a few strands of lights to replace some strands that were no longer working and a new tree topper. But not only am I trying to refrain from purchasing anything new, I put out a lot fewer Christmas decorations than I have in previous years. Now, before you accuse me of being an all-out Grinch, let me explain my thinking where this is concerned. If you are a person who loves to get out every piece of Christmas decor that you own, then you do you. But for me, it's not just about having less to put away after the holidays when, you know, it's a little less fun than when we get it out. It's also about truly enjoying and drawing attention to the decorations that we love and that are meaningful for us. I find that when I put a Christmas tree in every room and cover every flat surface with Christmas knickknacks, when I go overboard on the Christmas decorations, it detracts from the decor that is truly meaningful and beautiful and that my family really loves. It's almost like it gets lost because everything is so loud in every room. Do you know what I mean? We have two beautiful nativities that were gifted to me, one by my mother-in-law and one by my mother. And we also have a lovely Advent wreath arrangement that we actually light the candles when we are sitting at the table for dinner as a family or when we're just home on a quiet evening. On our big Christmas tree in the living room this year, I put a lot of family ornaments on it, a lot of homemade ornaments, some of which that go back to when my husband and I were very little, because these will be wonderful conversations that we can have with our kids when they ask us about those things. So not only is this going to make my house a little bit less cluttered, a little easier to keep clean, and also quicker to put everything away when the season is over, I do think we will enjoy and admire the decorations I did get out instead of pulling everything out of Christmas storage from a sense of obligation. Speaking of obligations, that actually segues into my next point perfectly, and I'll probably take some flack for this one, but hear me out. When it comes to the stuff we are doing during this season, whether it be the food we make, the gifts we buy, the parties, the pictures, the Christmas cards, whatever, think about this question, because this is the question that I'm asking myself. Is it a tradition or is it a burden? I know that it may seem like it can't be Christmas if we don't make great grandma's special gingerbread cookies, even though we know it takes 2 days and I usually have to go to 3 or 4 stores to find the right kind of molasses. I don't even know if there's molasses in gingerbread cookies, I'm just guessing. If the only reason we are doing something is out of a sense of obligation because of the time of year that it is, then I think it's okay to let that go. And let's face it, when great grandma passed down that recipe, do you really think it was her intent that those become the burden cookies? I don't think that that is the spirit in which she would have wanted those made anyway, right? There is one thing that we do not skip at Christmas, and that is attending service on Christmas Eve to celebrate the birth of Christ. Everything else I have learned is negotiable. If it is not something that my family truly likes, that we truly enjoy, that truly adds value and meaning to the season, then I'm giving myself permission to let it go. It doesn't mean that we can't pick it up another year if we want to try it again down the road. It doesn't mean that Christmas won't come, because it surely will. It just means that perhaps we're making space for something new that we truly do like and enjoy if we're letting go of those things that we're only doing out of obligation. Here's an example of how this is playing out for my family. It is currently 36 hours before Thanksgiving when I'm filming this, and we are not having the traditional Thanksgiving dinner this year. When we really thought about it and we discussed it with our family and those who are coming to visit for the holiday, we discovered that a lot of us aren't huge fans of turkey or just the traditional Thanksgiving dinner in general. But we are all big fans of throwing stuff on the grill. So instead of turkey, we're gonna have steak, chicken, shrimp, maybe some salmon fillets, and I'm gonna make up some sides that people have requested, like macaroni and cheese. When I really thought about it, is Thanksgiving really about the meal? Or is it about celebrating and honoring the family family that we're with. So we're still gonna do that. We're just gonna have some food that we enjoy and release ourselves from the obligation to partake of a tradition simply because that's what's expected and what everybody does. We're gonna do what's right for our family. I am delighted to be working again with Rada Cutlery to bring you today's video. Rada is celebrating 75 years of family-owned business, which is a feat in and of itself. And you know you don't stay in business that long if you don't have a high-quality product. In that amount of time, they have sold over 170 million knives that are crafted and made here in the US from materials that they source from here as well. Some of my favorites that I use almost on the daily, and you see them in my videos all the time, are the cook's knife, the cook's utility knife, and the paring knives. I also use the peeler, the tomato slicer, the bread slicer, and we just got a new set of steak knives from Rada that we used on Thanksgiving with our Thanksgiving steaks, and man, were they fantastic. But they make so many other things besides knives. They make cake pans and grilling tools and pizza slicers and ice cream scoops and spatulas. One of my favorite little doodads is this little pan scraper that you use when you're washing pans to scrape food off of the bottom really easily. I'm telling you, that little thing comes in handy. They also carry some really fun food items like mixes for dips and seasonings and also soup mixes. In fact, I used the chicken tortilla soup mix to make a delicious dinner for my family just the other night. I have really liked all of the Rada products that I've tried. You guys have told me in the comments how much you like your Rada products and how long you've had them. And right now you can get an extra 10% off your order when you visit the link in the description box below, or you go to radakitchenstore.com and you use the code GIFT10 at checkout. Again, that's an extra 10% off with the code GIFT10. There's a link in the description box below. And speaking of gifts, a lot of these items would make fantastic gifts, and 'tis the season. So thank you again to Rada Cutlery for sponsoring today's video. We are hosting some family for Thanksgiving, some of my husband's family. And you guys, I love to cook, but I don't want to spend the entire time in the kitchen preparing meals. I want to be able to enjoy time with family, with my kids, to play games, to watch movies, to do puzzles, and just actually enjoy the holiday. So one thing I told myself is that I am only going to cook one meal a day. That doesn't mean that we're only eating one meal a day. It just means that I'm only going to prepare one meal a day, and everybody can kind of fend for themselves the rest of the day. I just pulled into Sam's Club to pick up my order because one of the ways that I am making this easier is to organize my pantry and my fridge in a way that makes it super simple just to pull stuff out for easy snacking and meal prep. For instance, I have some breakfast items that I am putting in a basket, and it will be very easy for me to just set that out next to the coffee maker even the night before, maybe with some fruit, some apples and oranges and pears, so people can have a really easy, simple breakfast when they get up in the morning and make themselves a cup of coffee. I also did this with some lunch items. I have some rolls in the freezer that I'm gonna pull out, and I put all of the sandwich making things, the condiments and the meat and the cheeses, all in a drawer that's easy to pull out of my fridge, so I can just set that all out with a basket full of chip selections, and people can have that for easy lunches. This way I am only preparing the evening meals. But even if the evening meal wasn't the main meal of the day, let's say it's breakfast, I would apply this concept to the rest of the day. So maybe I would be preparing the big breakfast with pancakes and sausage and eggs and bacon and stuff like that, but later in the day it would be more of a fend for yourself. So we'd have like the sandwiches at lunchtime, and then maybe put out some soups or things that people could easily heat up and eat at the dinner time, because I only want to prepare one meal a day. I mentioned that I was just at Sam's picking up an order, and now I am at Aldi down the street picking up my Instacart order. And normally I love grocery shopping. I like going into the stores and seeing if there are any unadvertised deals or clearance finds or new products to see. But with it being so close to Thanksgiving, I mean, the last place I want to be in the day leading up to Thanksgiving is a grocery store. So last night I pressed the easy button. I opened up my Instacart app while I was watching a Christmas movie, and I placed my grocery order for Thanksgiving weekend. So for anybody out there who needs to hear it, it's okay to take the shortcut. Now, I do know that taking the shortcut often means spending a little bit more money, right? We're paying an upcharge for the convenience. We're budgeting our time instead of all of our money. But if you have a little wiggle room in your budget, I feel like there's never a better time of year to use it to purchase a little bit of convenience than right now. I've already mentioned using the shortcut of grocery pickup to save me some time, but I also picked up quite a few shortcut items just in this grocery haul, especially since we're entertaining company this weekend, things that are gonna make meals and snacks really easy. I even purchased the pies from Sam's Club. I got a pumpkin pie and a French silk pie because quite frankly, I can't make them that much better or that much cheaper than they would cost just to buy them there. So I decided just to save myself the trouble. And this concept doesn't just apply to the food for the season. Actually, one of the reasons I was out and about running errands is because my housekeeper was here cleaning the house. I spent the last few days kind of organizing and tidying here and there and putting out a few decorations, as I mentioned. And then she came in and cleaned the bathrooms and swept the floors and changed the sheets for me. And I've mentioned before that that is a shortcut that we budget for because it buys back a lot of time for me. I have before used a concierge car detailing service where they will actually come to your house and clean your car. I'm not saying that you have to do all of those things. I'm just saying that if you have been on the ledge about pressing that easy button and you know you have the finances to do it, I think there is never a better season to buy back some of your time than this one. If you are feeding a crowd, I mentioned this tip last year, but I think it's worth mentioning again. In fact, I did an entire video last year about this particular concept, and that is to consider a menu where you can serve it bar style, meaning people can build their own plate from multiple options. This is also a great way to cater to a lot of different eating preferences or lifestyles because people can pick and choose the things that they want to eat. Last year, I did a taco bar with different kinds of proteins and different toppings and sides for the tacos. I also did a breakfast bar with eggs and bacon and sausage, and I think I did biscuits too. Tomorrow when people are coming into town for our little holiday gathering, I'm serving soups. So I'm gonna have some different options for people to choose from and the appropriate accoutrements to go along with that. These are also things that I can put in my crock pot, and utilizing my slow cooker, not just for meals, but even for things like beverages or appetizers is a real lifesaver during the holiday season. I think another thing that really burns people out during this season is the cooking, because on top of the special gatherings and on top of going to the receptions and planning the holiday meals and all of the special treats and maybe the things that you're making as gifts, we still have to cook meals most of the night for our family. And if that is you, you're going to want to watch my next video because I'm putting together a list of just really easy meal ideas for when we're tired of cooking. I'm going to make a few of them. I'm going to share some that we use frequently or have used in the past. So make sure that you are looking out for that video if that is something that you struggle with. We just said goodbye to our Thanksgiving company, and we've got about a day and a half to sort of catch our breath before we get back into our usual routine. And that was one thing that I wanted to add to this video, because I know that it is super tempting to make every day over the top, better than the one that came before it. It's sort of like the elf on the shelf mentality that we have to have something special in every single day. And can I just say that I think it's perfectly okay to sprinkle the ordinary into the extra. Not every single day has to be extraordinary. For my kids, it's actually better for them. I think they get really overstimulated when I am trying to kind of one-up myself, you know, with a gift every day or with a special activity every day or with a craft every day or with a baking something every day. We're gonna have just some regular days. Yes, the Christmas tree is up and we might have Christmas music on instead of our regular Pandora stations, but we're gonna have some days where we just go to school and go to our activities, where we go to bed on time, where we eat normal meals. And those are the days I think that are going to make it possible for us to enjoy the extraordinary special days even more. So don't feel like every single day in the month and every single day in the season has to be this fantastic over-the-top thing, because it's absolutely exhausting and it's a pace that we just can't keep up with. If you have more great ideas along these lines, leave me a comment. Be sure that you are subscribed, especially as I have more videos coming your way here in December. Pick out one of these videos to watch next and I'll see you there.